Benito Mussolini was born in 1883 in Italy. His father was a blacksmith and a strong socialist, which influenced Mussolini's early political ideas. In his youth, Mussolini worked as a teacher and journalist. At first, he supported socialism, but his beliefs changed over time. After World War I, Italy was in chaos, economic crisis, unemployment, and political instability. Mussolini took advantage of this unrest. In 1922, he led the famous March on Rome, forcing the king to appoint him as prime minister. Soon after, he destroyed democracy and became a dictator. What kind of ruler was he? Mussolini was a fascist dictator. He ruled Italy with strict control over media, no political opposition, secret police to silence critics, propaganda to glorify himself. He wanted to rebuild the Roman Empire and make Italy powerful again. But in reality, his rule was based on fear and control, war and violence. Mussolini allied with Adolf Hitler during World War II. His regime committed brutal acts, including the invasion of Ethiopia, 1935, where chemical weapons were used, support for Nazi Germany, suppression and execution of political enemies. How many people died? Estimating exact numbers is difficult, but historians believe tens of thousands of Ethiopians were killed during his invasion. Thousands of Italians died due to political repression. Millions of deaths were linked indirectly through his role in World War II. Overall, Mussolini is responsible, directly and indirectly, for hundreds of thousands to millions of deaths. Downfall and death. As World War II turned against him, Mussolini lost power in 1943. In 1945, he was captured by Italian resistance fighters and executed. His body was publicly displayed, marking the end of his brutal rule. Final thoughts. To some, Mussolini promised strength and order, but in reality, he brought oppression, war, and destruction. A leader who wanted glory, but left behind a legacy of suffering. The empire he dreamed of was collapsing. The people he once controlled now wanted him gone. The beginning of the end. By 1943, Benito Mussolini was no longer the powerful leader he once appeared to be. Italy was losing badly in World War II. Cities were bombed, soldiers were dying, and the people were starving. Even his own allies had lost faith in him. Betrayal from within. In July 1943, Mussolini was betrayed by members of his own government. He was arrested on the orders of the king. Just like that, the dictator who ruled with fear lost everything in a single day. Hitler's rescue mission. But the story didn't end there. Adolf Hitler refused to let his ally fall. In a daring special operation, German forces rescued Mussolini from captivity. He was placed back into power, but this time he was only a puppet leader under Nazi control. A broken leader. Mussolini returned to rule northern Italy, creating a weak regime known as the Italian Social Republic. But he was no longer feared, he was no longer respected. Italy had turned against him. Civil war spread across the country. Former supporters became enemies. The final escape. By 1945, the war was ending, and Mussolini knew his time was up. He tried to escape Italy, disguising himself and fleeing with his mistress, but he couldn't run forever. The brutal end. Mussolini was captured by Italian resistance fighters. On April 28, 1945, he was executed. No trial, no mercy. His body was taken to Milan and hung upside down in public. The same people who once feared him now stood and watched his final humiliation. Final message. Power built on fear never lasts. Benito Mussolini wanted to be remembered as a great leader, but history remembers him as a dictator who brought suffering, war, and destruction.